Okay, so I made this video for Domain Gojo, and we're gonna do this again for Sukuna because, well, Sukuna is the #1 DPS in the game. Now, him being the #1 DPS in the game has not changed since he's released, what was it, December 30th to 31st? And it's been, what, 5 months since he's released, and he has consistently been unmatched, right? Now, Honored One Gojo is probably up to his level on that same playing field, but I would still say that pretty much the whole community believes Sukuna to be on top of Honored One Gojo. So, you know, Sukuna 5 months in is still #1 and is still absolutely cooking everything. All right, I just want to bring this up for each stream that gets to 250 likes before I start streaming, before the stream goes live. So this one's at 105, this one's at 142. For each one that gets to 250, I will do a $10 giveaway live through the Discord down below. So get these to 250. I'm also going to be doing viewer summons for Sukuna. So go to my Discord linked down below and DM me if you want to be part of viewer summons, where I go on your account and I summon live during this stream right here, where, as I said, 250 likes, and I'll be giving away a $10 either gift card or PayPal, or also going in game and buying you a pack. One of the 3 options. I think I'll probably make this like a trend for whenever there's like a really good unit, where I just go in, explain their kit in one video and tell you why they're so good. Okay. So Sukuna himself is definitely going to be someone that I think you don't necessarily need, and that is kind of attributed to the fact that, #1, Jogo could clear blue floors, but also blue floors at the moment are quite easy. I saw someone mention that basically we don't need Sukuna right now, but in the future we will. And I mean, like, sure, in the future you will, but like the future is maybe like 6 to 10 months away. So it's like by then there might be another blue DPS, or there might be a bit better support that makes Jogo even better, right? So it's hard to really say, but in terms of like value and if you should summon, I'll save that for another video, because I'm still getting my thoughts in order to give like one final verdict on that. And then, like, you know, I'll go crazy in that video and explain my thoughts. So this is the only unit I've been able to, well, I've wanted to max dupe, and I think it was worth it. But overall, if you want to like go for Sukuna, I would say 1 dupe is enough. So here we go. Now then, Sukuna is blue, and currently there is no better blue DPS than him. The only ones that really come close is, I would say, Jogo and Jogo. Maki's good. I wouldn't say she comes close though. Oh, didn't mean to go on Twitter. Now, why Sukuna is so good is because of how strong his ultimate is, and also because of his consistency with the skill 3, to where he doesn't have just 1 good turn, he has essentially 4 good turns of damage, which is why this guy's so busted. So if we start very simple, well, it's basically just his passive. They're both very good. So the first one is, depending on how much damage he takes, he has a chance, or a higher chance, to heal 6,500 HP per turn. So he doesn't get hit, 20% chance to heal, right? He gets hit for 1 time of 3,000, 50% chance to heal 6,500 HP. Twice of 3,000, he gets hit, or he has a chance to heal 6,500 for 85% chance. So you will actually proc these a lot. And let me just say, it's very hard to kill this boy when he does have very high stats. I mean, just in terms of everything, his HP is at 37k, obviously max duped, but without a rec bit, right? And that's considering he's going to be healing, which is going to make it very, very high. So that's something to consider. Now, the next passive is also very good. He cannot be poisoned, cannot have a darkness applied, soul, stun, confusion immunity to self, and then also 30% flame resistance. So all of this is going to be great, and you can't have instant death, of course. So all of this, you're basically immune to everything, and I think the biggest thing is no stun. So it's basically you're kind of, in a way, logically getting the advantages of what Domain Gojo has and like other Gojos, to where they don't get like afflicted or take damage, except he can take damage, but he's going to heal it up. But this way he could take damage and get extra ult gauge from when he takes the damage, which in some cases will be clutch. Now, when he does get a crit, or when he does do a crit attack, he gets 30% damage dealt for 2 turns, and increases Cursed Energy by 20. Now, this is only going to be relevant the turn before you ult, which is fine, but you know. Now, if you do get hit for 3,000 HP or more, there's a 50% chance you get an increased Taijutsu and Jujutsu stat by 20% for 2 turns. Which is, I mean, decent, but it's not really like, if this was more so 4 turns, likewise with this, if they were 4 turns, I think Sukuna would have been, well, it's like, this is kind of irrelevant. I never see it really matter. For it to matter, it would have been like 4 turns, but it's still decent to have for sure. Like, you won't find me complaining about this at all, right? Now, getting into his skills, skill 1, all you really need to know is that it increases ult gauge by 100. Now, you can see each stack of laceration increases an additional damage of laceration by 20%. So the more laceration stacks, the bigger each laceration stack is, because it's not like incrementally increasing. Every laceration stack does the same amount. So to me, the way this reads and the way it seems to be is that if there's 4 laceration stacks, they'll all have the 80% increase. It's not going to be 20, 40, 60, 80. It's going to be all at 80. Now this ult gauge will help, but you're not using the skill 1 much. You're usually going to use the skill 2 because it's just going to be better in terms of keeping pride stacks. Funny enough, in almost every case, pride is going to work better for Sukuna than any other rec bit, which is really funny, to be honest. But it's because you could stack the Jujutsu damage so high, and he doesn't have his own Jujutsu self-buffs, that it does make it quite good, right? Quite good. And this is Taijutsu, so it does 350% outside of domain. And then he gets 45% crit rate and 75% crit damage for 3 turns both, right? Now, what's actually very nice is that his crit rate is at 70%, which is going to be very good to activate this. Where is it? This to get the 30% damage dealt the turn before, especially considering that you have the extra crit rate, right? So you're going to be able to probably get the crit the turn before, and that's going to be great. Now we're going to go into the skill restriction state after ult. We're going to check it after. Now skill 3 is goated because in this, right, depending on how much cursed energy you have, you're going to do way more damage. It starts off at 240. Goes up to fucking 1200. That's higher than Blue Gojo's ult percent by 200%. And then it's going to give 3 stacks of 50% laceration, and then each stack adding an extra 20%. So this is going to be huge after ult for sure. Like, this alone is doing ult levels of damage. The only thing is you're not seeing the ult levels of damage, because if you do 2 pride stacks, well, you're going to lose one of the pride stacks by the time you get to the skill 3. Will you? No, you should have it. Unless I'm tweaking, you should have it, yeah. No, you should have it. So the first one, like, I'll see this do maybe like 8 million in a turn. You could probably do more with that. It is a lot. Now the ult, goated, absolutely insane. So this is going to do 1684. Also, you nullify attack nullification. And now this is going to start being relevant when in powerful enemy battles, there's a Toji. What if they bring a Gojo in the future, right? So this is going to be huge for the powerful enemy battles now. Now, this is 1684 to all enemies. The problem is it's 8 hits. Now, why that's bad is because he has such high crit rate. Hitting all 8 hits is pretty difficult. I usually don't get it. Also, because the crit rate is 10%, because they like balance it by giving you crit rate on the self buff. So it kind of sucks, because 8 hits, I would have rathered if it was like 4, because I feel like 4, sure, it's less chances to proc it, but I'd rather that, especially because he has high crit rate, we could say. Now he inflicts 4 stacks of 50% laceration, and each stack gives the extra 20%, which is going to go very high once you also include the skill 3 with all the stacks it's going to put afterwards. So that's huge. Now, we also cannot charge ult gauge for 3 turns. It is pretty rough. You do have to play around this, especially in sweep, but it's fine, to be honest. Now you have skill restriction for 2 turns, 2 times, right? And then you increase your maximum amount of cursed energy by 100 for 6 turns and get 200 cursed energy. That 200 cursed energy is going to allow you to minimum use this twice in a row, right? Which is huge, right? You're just going to be able to use this twice in a row. And then that's 1200 and 1200 on top of the 1600 on top of this, which is minimum an extra like over 1000. And then it's going to start incrementally increasing because of the extra bleed stacks here. So it's like the damage over 3 turns is like not even like, it's not even close to anything else that you could do with another unit in most cases, right? If you have a max nuke, like Sukuna is just fucking going crazy in those 3 turns. The only unit who even comes close is Honored One in terms of like how much damage you could do in those turns, which is like why Honored One's really good, because like being able to do damage, I would say about maybe 90% to what Sukuna could do, single target, is like really fucking good. Like really fucking good. Honored One is more consistent, where you're doing it over the course of maybe 20 turns, where him it's more concentrated in 3 to 4 turns, right? So that's kind of how it works. And then we go back and you'll see that in this, you have to use the skill 2, because you could only use the skill 2 in the skill restriction state for 2 turns, but it's actually going to give you an increased damage dealt on the attack, and then that's going to increase up to 150%, which is insane. And then it's going to do 450% taijutsu, and then increase the enemy's damage received by 45%, which you could stack twice, which is huge for the third hit, because then the third hit is going to have this extra 90%, right? Which is going to be huge, because then the third hit with probably Domain Gojo buffs and all that shit is going to do just like ridiculous levels, which is why Sukuna is so good, because his kit just works very well together to where he's just doing ridiculous levels of damage, right? He doesn't even have crazy self buffs, but because of everything he is doing, right? Crit damage increase, you got the damage increase on the skill 2, right? In the debuff, right? This part. And then the ult with all the other people buffing you. Like, he doesn't even need that much self buffs because of the fact that everyone else is buffing him to where his multipliers alone are fine, right? Because other people who need self buffs usually have lower multipliers, where his multipliers in total over 3 turns are probably over like 5,000% total. Just throwing a number out there. So it's like, this is why he works so well. It's because his multipliers are so high, including the laceration, that it gets to ridiculous damage. So that's basically it. That's why Sukuna is so good. It's basically because of the laceration stacks, for being real, and because you could spam his skill 3. Like, his ult is great, but other people could do his ult damage. It's just no one else is doing his ult damage, plus the laceration, plus 2 skill 3s of his damage afterwards, which is why Sukuna is goated. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know if you're pulling for Sukuna. I'm going to make my final verdict probably on the 31st at night. So 3 more days and we'll see how I decide to approach this situation for free-to-play players, to give you my opinion. So that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you're new, or if for some reason you didn't realize you weren't subscribed. Thank you. Bye-bye.